Well, it is this fine last day of 2011. Welcome to Cover Your Assets. Tonight, I should say, Cover Your Assets crew. We've got Todd Rooker at the helm, along with Mr. Jason Walgrave. Craig Nestor is off today, and we've got a kind of a special treat here. We're going to use a different phone number to reach the crew during the show today and thereafter. We're going to give you access exclusively to Jason Walgrave's cell phone. So you're going to be hearing a lot today about wealth building, money, finances, financial tactics for the 21st century and real estate. And the number to call for more information or to talk about your situation privately off the air is 612-419-9425. That's 612-419-9425. And if you missed it, we'll be giving that out throughout the show. Happy New Year, guys.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to everybody.
This is a big, big deal. I think that, this being the last day of the year, there's a lot of excitement, a lot of other fun that will be happening later on as the hours dwindle away. But, we always like to kind of reflect, and I think there's a few people that might be really looking forward to some new calendar energy. How about you two?
Oh, for sure.
I think so.
A new beginning.
New beginning.
Yes.
We could all definitely use one. What we do here, though, first, before we launch into some of the predictions and the new now and the new year, what do we do here at Cover Your Assets, Jason?
We like to talk about, we go through a lot of different topics and a lot of different subjects. We want to be the resource for our listeners, customer, and clients to be able to bring the information to the table to show you what your options are. And whether that's investing in real estate or whether that's a short sale or whether you're in a financial crisis, we want to be the go-to guys, the place to go when you have difficult questions, when you're in a difficult situation, and we want to show you what your options are.
And what I love about the energy of this team is that you don't necessarily advise the client to do the specific thing that makes you money. You may pass them off to someone else on the team like Todd Rooker here. What's your aspect of this?
My aspect, it is to essentially give them unbiased information so that they can make the best decision. If they're going to go to somebody like Jason, they're going to be utterly certain that that's the direction that they want to go and feel as though they've gotten the information without any slanted perspective because, whatever business a person is in, that tends to be their focus and actually it should be. So there's nothing wrong with that. But for me, my job is to lay out all the information. And so when they determine that they're going to do a short sale or they need to consider doing asset protection or bankruptcy or credit counseling, or they want to structure themselves to ensure that they're never in this position, they're going to go to a person who can help them, who has a tremendous reputation, because when I refer people, I always ensure that the people that I'm referring are people who are stellar in the industry, not just so-so because I happen to have a business card, but somebody who's really good. And so they can then pursue their objectives. So if they're going to go see Jason and we've got a success rate in short sales of 90%, that's phenomenal, and we know we're going to succeed. But the value is that when they go to see Jason, there's no trepidation as to whether or not they should or shouldn't do a short sale, and they're half in and half out. They're certain this is the direction because they have all the information to make that decision with.
And that is kind of an interesting differentiation there. Jason may be able to help an investor get a great cash flowing rental property, or in the case of a short sale, you may be able to, we know you're very effective at getting rid of the house. But Todd, your aspect of this, you deal kind of with the reverberations, letting them know what those are going to be, and then the reconstruction.
So much of the decision making is piecemeal. People make the decisions and they're not looking at the whole picture, meaning that they're not really fixing the problem. They're simply dealing with the pain that is there at the moment. And many times the home may not actually be the pivotal issue. They tend to think of it as being such, and that's why the question of whether we should stay in the house or walk away from the house is the one that seems to be most on their mind. And many times they'll keep a house when, if you looked at it as an outsider objectively, you'd realize that immediately this makes no sense. Nonetheless, the home may not be the beginning and the end of everything. It may be one piece in a puzzle, but there may be other unsecured debt. There may be driving proximity. There may be divorce situation going on where they need to divest themselves of a house. There may be family implications where they have just simply not enough rooms for the new growing family. It's just a number of things. And simply saying, should we sell the house or not, is only one piece of the puzzle.
And it's so important to have so many aspects. And again, to know exactly what the consequences are going to be of whatever course you choose to take, no matter what scenario that you just described you might be in.
Minimizing the damage and getting you through on the other side quickly so that you can get strong and healthy and move forward with your life is the main thing. So you begin with the end in mind. If you're going to look on the other side, don't just look at what's in front of you, but say, when this is over, where will I be? And have I fixed my problem by making the moves that I'm going to make? Something is not better than nothing if it doesn't fundamentally fix the problem. Meaning that if I get a loan modification and lowers my payment $500 a month, well, gee, my payment was only $5,000 a month, and now it's only $4,500 a month. Problem is, I can pay neither of them, and I've not fixed anything. So, do you know enough about your personal finances so that when you're offered an opportunity to modify, or if you short sale and you walk away, do you know that renting is actually going to improve your cash flow, or is there no sense in walking away because the alternative between your current home's mortgage payment and renting, all things considered, the tax benefit for being a homeowner just canceled out any cash flow benefit you would have realized, in which case it isn't about the house, it's about the fact that you need to make more money, and maybe there's other issues that are on the table that must be considered.
Absolutely. 612-419-9425. That's 612-419-9425 to reach Jason Walgrave about your own situation during the show or in the hours and days after. Now, guys, ever since the Cover Your Assets show began last summer, we've been talking about the new now. And I'd love for both of you on this final day of 2011 to kind of give your take on what you think the new now really is and what does that mean within the context of how we use it.
Well, I think a lot has changed, and it continues to change over the weeks and months and as the years go by. I think that the worst thing that you can do is to do nothing. And I think, Todd, we're seeing less of this. I think people are becoming more proactive. They're sitting down with us, for example, and seeing what their options are, rather than, I think we're seeing less and less people that are just prolonging the inevitable of moving from the house or short selling it, and in the meantime spending all their savings and spending their retirement and putting themselves and their families in a position that is not only going to come eventually, but now they're in a financial position where they don't have any backup or any savings to do really anything with. So I think that the new now moving forward, I think people are becoming aware of understanding that they have options and that they have more power in the position that they thought they were before. So, again, do something. You have options. You're in, most people have no idea the options that they have, and it's so important to explore those and figure it out.
Yeah, I think a lot of people just got really tied up, Todd Rooker, with the idea that, oh my gosh, this has been a really, extensively long and deep economic downturn. And then with the rug getting pulled out from under our American feet and being able to sell our house at a profit no matter what every 5 minutes, with those two things being gone, everybody just felt like it was desolate. But we're finding that, brains like you guys and all the people that on the Cover Your Assets team, there are different ways to work and your own personal finances and manage your life. And from your perspective, Todd, what would you add to that?
Anytime that you've got economically or personally crisis, it forces growth. And I think that the new perception of things is dramatically different, let's say, from 2005. And here's what I'll say to that. I just did a class today for Kaplan Professional Schools, which is about managing money and building stability. And the interesting thing is, if you went back prior to that, quite honestly, this seems like a flippant comment, but it's true. People thought of available credit as being financial security and stability. So if they had available credit, they had the stability to withstand problems. And, if they got themselves into trouble, they could simply refinance their houses, and they really looked upon it that way. Well, if you go back and you look economically at when let's say the recessions and depressions like the Great Depression that my grandfather lived through, they were forced to live on their incomes to the dollar. They stopped focusing on the grandiose things and began to look at fundamental things like stability and succeeding. Now, when you look at finances, I think that Americans' biggest problems has been for the last 2 decades plus is that they manage their lifestyle, or better yet, they measure their financial success in lifestyle rather than building net worth, which is stability and security. And consequently, you ask somebody how they're doing, and they'll tell you about a trip they took to Europe. And the fact is, they should have been talking about assets minus liabilities. So that's changing, and people are saving money and getting more stable.
And there's good news to this new now. There's not just the shock and awe that we've all been caught up in for the last couple of years in the situations that we've found ourselves in. There's far more to be talked about today on this final day of 2011 on Cover Your Assets, 612-419-9425. We'll be back.